Today I'm making a couple of lidded boxes or decorated lidded boxes, mixed media, and this was a direct link from Ina Solsbery on YouTube, who did a YouTube video on unique gift boxes, and I'll put the link below. Last night I sat down and just adhered using the Liquitex heavy gel medium and adhered down anything I could find that was appropriate to put on top of these two boxes. One's a little shorter and plumper than the other's taller and narrow. I just thought these were just such a great idea. When Ina made hers, she used all sorts of plastic things that she'd found and saved, and I didn't have anything like that, but I just went through my little embellishment drawers and dug out any things that I thought that might be appropriate. Here you can see I'm just decorating the sides of this one with some fabric lace. There's some cotton lace that I had. I just wanted something to break up the side. I think Ina used some sort of trim on hers, and I found this lace and I thought that would go around quite easily, so I'll put some more of the Liquitex heavy gel onto the sides of the lid and just adhering that down. I let these dry overnight with all the things on the top because they're quite heavy really. Some of those items are quite sort of solid. And you see there, some of the little black beads keep falling off, but I figure they're better to fall off now than later. I wondered what to put on the other one. I wanted one to be a bit more girly, if you like, and the other one a bit more sort of industrial looking really. I didn't really want to do steampunk, but I just wanted it to look a bit more metallic and industrial. And so I thought, what can I put around the sides of this? And remembered a whole heap of little glass buttons that I've bought from AliExpress some time ago in a weak moment, and you get thousands of them, and really I don't use many of them, so I thought they were a nice domed size and give the box a sort of almost a studded sort of look. So I just go around putting on a good smooth layer of the paste and then adding these little buttons, and I found I just had to bunch a few of them up a little bit to get the last one on, just there, just pushing them together, and with a little bit of fine tuning I found enough space for that last one to sit down nicely into the paste. And left them to dry. And while they were drying, I decided I would get in and paint the box bottoms. When Ina made hers, she did one in black and one in colour, but I decided to, because I had so much paint mixed up, that I would do them both in black. And I'm using a Montmartre, just a cheap acrylic paint, but it does dry with a little bit of it's not glossy and it's not matte, it's just that in between, quite a nice finish. So I get in and paint them, the outside and the bottoms, and I eventually paint the insides too. I had to finish them off. I was intending to line them with paper, but then I thought, while I had the paint mixed up, these boxes are going to need anything that's placed in them to be wrapped anyway, particularly if it's a food item, so it didn't really matter. And this paint seals really well. So you can see there I've done inside both of the lids also, and the inside and the outside of both the bases with the same dimension paint. Once those side panels, the lace and the little glass beads had dried, I got out the gesso, and for this one I'm using white gesso because I'm going to do the top more coloured. And I've got a bottle of black gesso there, the first time I've had that, thanks to Chris for his shop. He had that in stock. I was able to get that from him. And just giving those, there's a few more black beads, you can see all the loose ones are coming off nicely. Got the sides well covered. I had to work it into that lace a little bit. And now just giving everything on the top a good coat. This buttons, nibs, bits of clocks, a few gears and things. So that bit that I'm doing in the middle is an old gum nut, the shells, whatever I could find that I thought would go on there, I have added. There's a metal flower on each too. I'm using a finer brush there just to get into the little nooks and crannies in between and underneath, just to make sure everything is as sealed off as it can be. Now for the black one. This one's got a jigsaw piece, they've both got chains on them. Large beads, I've put large beads. I'm doing the sides first. I wasn't sure how well these little glass buttons would cover, but they're covered very well. Just making sure I get down between them. Reminds me of a dog collar. And then applying it to everything on the top. I treated these in just the same way that Ina treated hers, with the putting the metallic-y paints and alcohol inks and things on the top with, and sprays. And when I started it, as you can see there, I forgot to turn it on, but all you can see on there at the moment is some sprays. After I put the sprays on, I suddenly realised the video wasn't running, and it's so hot here, it addles my brain when it's too hot in my craft room. You can see where I've just added a little bit of the greeny to the black box, and some greens and pinks to the white box. And here I'm just going in with some turquoisey metallic paint. Sort of did this one in turquoises and silver predominantly, with a little bit of green. The largish round domey things, and there's a couple on there, one next to the gum nut. I'm just painting it now. They're actually big glass beads. I was going to look at my marbles. I've got some clear marbles somewhere. I thought they'll do. It's nice how when you start putting the metallic on, how it starts to re-identify everything that you've just covered. And when I did the side, I did it mostly silver, but I left a little bit of the teal in the brush. And in the end I sort of mixed them because I like that slightly greeny tinge it gave the silver. I just thought these were such a pretty idea, just to put a little present in, or to use as little store boxes. I'll certainly be saving any, I usually save any boxes that are sturdy, but I'll certainly be making more of an effort to do that. And I'll also be making more of an effort to save any little bits and pieces that I find. Ina used quite a bit of little plastic bits and pieces, I know. Remember there was a Barbie doll shoe and some sort of game pieces, I think Lego or something. I'll be saving those little bits and pieces in a separate box. This is the green. I think this was a shamrock green spray, metallic spray, Lindy Stamp Gang. This one was another green, and I realised I wanted more of the tealy colour, so I got out the Tibetan teal and used that to emphasise that colour. Don't use these very often, and they didn't really want to spray, so I'll take it off and just add a bit of the liquid colour here and there. And letting those dry. And going back to the white one to add a little bit more colour. This is a limey green, a Kaiser Craft spray, and I quite like the combination of that. It's an old cranberry something. I think it's a glimmer mist. I quite like the combination of those colours. Now I've decided to do the sides of this box, and I've got some purpley coloured metallic paint and also some gold sheen. When I put the purple paint on the rim, it came up as quite a strong sort of jacaranda-y colour, which was just in the wrong place. It was just too strong. So I found that by putting a bit of the gold into it as well, toned it down and made it sort of fit in a bit better than just the straight colour. I brushed a little bit of that mauvey jacaranda over the bits just to give them a little bit of light and lift. I don't do a lot of mixed medium projects, but I really loved doing this one. I was quite pleased with it. And the fact that you can just recycle such disparate little things and have quite a pleasant outcome just adds to the pleasure of it all. Just putting in a little bit more of that gold now. It's a sheen, it's not really a paint, but it does really, it works well as a highlight, and there's no water on the brush. It's quite dry, and I try and pick up just a tiny bit of paint and just spread it lightly. Best to do a few coats to get the look you want. You can see there's a sewing bobbin there and a little metal 6.5, a little heart-shaped bead, one of the flat beads I made. Now I'm going through again and just adding some more of that gold to tone down the strength of the colour of that. It also helps to pick up the texture of the lace strip. Just accentuate it a little more. These are very quick to make, apart from the drying time. It's a good project to have and just work on from time to time, because the drying time is what takes the length of time to get them finished. Just emphasising a bit more green on that and putting a little bit of that Mr. Huey's, I think it's called Sheer. I keep forgetting to look at the name of that, but it's just a clear gloss. It just lightens things, puts a bit of metallic sheen without any added colour. Then I got out the alcohol inks. I wasn't going to, but down in amongst the corners and underneath some of those larger items, there were some patches that hadn't really picked up the colour, and so the alcohol inks were great because they just drizzled down in and covered up those little blank areas. I don't have that many alcohol inks, but I quite like the effect they gave with this. They didn't need any fiddling with, they just found their own level and added to the overall effect. I've got some photos at the end where they're almost finished, they're not quite finished. I've still got to coat them. I'm going to give them a good coating with Estopol spray, but I need to get another can, and so I'll do that. But the photos at the end are without the final coat, but you get the idea. There we go, that's pretty much the last of the colour. You can just see it there, the richness of it, all those disparate little items. That's the blue one, I really like that. I was taken with blues and greens more than pinks, but there you go. So thanks to Ina for the inspiration. Here's just some still photos of the finished items, almost finished items. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you give it a try. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye for now.